Avery Sinclair rushed out of her luxurious New York penthouse, grabbing her bag without even glancing at the breakfast the housekeeper had prepared. The billionaire CEO, Damien Sterling, her possessive husband and obsessive alpha male, sat at the marble dining table, sipping his coffee slowly. He offered to drive her in his sleek Maybach, but she hesitated, changing her shoes and negotiating to be dropped off at the corner of South Pond Road, so she could run the rest of the way to avoid any suspicion. Damien chuckled, slipping on his tailored suit jacket, tossing over his shoulder that he couldn't understand what she was so worried about. Of course, she was terrified her colleagues would discover their secret marriage of convenience, a forced marriage that had lasted a year now, filled with dark romance elements like jealousy, revenge plots from his business rivals, and his dominant nature clashing with her submissive tendencies. In the car, they sat at opposite ends, Damien gazing out the window at the bustling city streets. Unlike most billionaire CEOs who buried themselves in files, he claimed the motion made him dizzy with words, preferring to watch the world pass by. Avery broke the silence, reminding him their one-year agreement was almost up, and divorce was on the horizon. Damien fiddled with his Rolex watch, mentioning the lawyer was preparing the papers since his vast wealth, complete with private jets, Italian villas, and yachts, complicated things. She nodded agreeably, relieved they could end this enemies-to-lovers saga quietly, just as they'd begun it. Back when she'd agreed to this age-gap union, it was out of necessity. Now a discreet divorce felt like freedom. As the Maybach pulled up to her drop-off, she waved cheerfully, but Damien's eyes narrowed at her smile. His voice mild as he said they'd see each other at the office. Words she dismissed as polite nonsense, given their worlds rarely overlapped. Little did she know, fate had other plans in this grumpy sunshine dynamic. A last-minute meeting room switched threw everything into chaos. The original space was now occupied by Damien and his top executives for a high-stakes board meeting. The office buzzed with online chatter, colleagues like Fiona messaging Avery about insider gossip, claiming Damien had changed rooms because of a lingering perfume scent that irritated him, or perhaps because the possessive husband was in a foul mood, his face dark as he entered the building. Everyone tiptoed around, aware the mafia boss-like aura of the billionaire CEO loomed just next door. Avery sat in the corner during her department's project discussion, there more to listen and learn than contribute, her role as a junior staffer keeping her in the shadows. Her phone rang abruptly, shattering the focus. Flustered, she hung up quickly, but it buzzed again. Her department head, Mr. Hayes, mouthed for her to take it outside. It was Grandpa Sterling, Damien's grandfather, inviting her, and by extension, the stinky kid, as he called his grandson, for dinner. Avery promised to check with Damien, but Grandpa insisted she come anyway, complaining about Grandma wanting a divorce over some silly electronic chess games with another old-timer, his jealousy flaring up. He begged Avery to mediate, sighing that he could only rely on her. Hanging up, her head spun, and in her haste to return, she pushed open the wrong door, straight into Damien's executive meeting. The room fell silent, a sea of stern suits turning toward her. No familiar faces, just power players in this luxury lifestyle empire. Before she could apologize and flee, Mr. Hayes, her own boss, stood, berating her loudly for barging in without a brain, demanding she roll out and shut the door. Avery's cheeks burned, ready to escape this humiliation, but Damien, seated at the head like the obsessive alpha male he was, chuckled coldly. He smoothed his cufflinks, announcing calmly that he'd asked his wife to deliver some documents. Mr. Hayes paled, stammering apologies. The room's eyes widened, whispers implied. This was the billionaire CEO's little wife, his possession in this dark romance. Avery fumed inwardly. They were on the brink of divorce, yet here he was, outing their forced marriage publicly. Damien played it cool, asking for the documents. With nothing but her phone, she typed a quick note about Grandpa's call and dinner, handing it over. He praised her with a smile, calling it exactly what he needed, his acting skills worthy of Hollywood. Standing there under scrutiny, every executive eyeing her as the pregnant heir's potential mother. Though she wasn't yet, Avery endured the longest seconds of her life. Mr. Hayes's face twisted in regret, fear, and horror, a masterpiece of emotions. Finally, Damien returned her phone, adding a teasing "thanks, wife" that perked up every ear in the room. Gossip was human nature, after all. She poked him discreetly, reminding him of their hidden marriage deal. Damien smiled, warning the room lightly that his low-key wife disliked rumors. What to say and what not, they all knew. They nodded solemnly, and Avery's heart eased. But as she turned to leave, Damien tugged her sleeve, murmuring they'd go to Grandpa's together that night, his expression oddly intimate in front of everyone. She glared and bolted, spending the day in dread, but no whispers spread. The executive's lips were sealed tight. Riding home in Damien's Maybach, Avery exhaled in relief. He teased her about fearing scandals with him, but she brushed it off. Post-divorce, she just wanted silence. Damien eyed her meaningfully, asking if she really wanted out. Stunned, she countered if he didn't. He hummed non-committally, silence stretching until they reached the Sterling family estate, a sprawling Italian-style villa with manicured gardens and a private helipad. Grandpa and Grandma awaited awkwardly, clearly mid-quarrel. Avery signaled reassurance to Grandpa, but Grandma complained to Damien about Grandpa's habits. Damien, ever the dominant figure, quipped about their divorce, then turned to Grandpa for alliance, sighing it was tough to part. The elders froze, turning on them. Why divorce? Who started it? Was Damien mistreating his good girl? Avery panicked. This wasn't the plan. They weren't ready to confess, not with papers unsigned. Deflecting, she asked why they were divorcing. Grandpa denied it was serious, just play fighting. Damien echoed, saying theirs was too. Crisis averted, they dined joyfully, Grandpa later praising Avery's quick thinking as a clever move. That night, they stayed at the estate, sharing a room as expected in this marriage of convenience. Avery wasn't too tense, they'd done this before, but Damien seemed nervous, even swapping his slippers wrong. She teased him about inheriting Grandpa's stubbornness, and he sulked. While she worked on her laptop, answering a young male entrant's questions, Damien glanced over, his jealousy simmering. He claimed the intern was flirting. Avery scoffed, showing the professional chats. But Damien insisted no one asked that many questions innocently, his possessive husband side emerging. She ended the conversation abruptly, and the intern replied cheerily, promising a loving breakfast tomorrow. Damien mocked it sarcastically, earning her headache. Lying in bed, silence reigned until Damien chatted in the dark, warning her not to accept gifts from today's meeting attendees. They'd curry favor. Avery sat up, horrified at the ripple effects. He admitted outing her to defend against Mr. Hayes's insults. No one called his baby girl brainless. Touched yet frustrated, she accused him of strangeness, breaking their no publicity rule, delaying divorce. Damien paused, then confessed softly he didn't want a divorce. She's mine. Every breath she takes belongs to me. No one else gets to claim her, not even in passing insults. Avery protested their agreement, but Damien drew closer, his breath warm on her face, admitting he liked her. Obvious, wasn't it? She challenged why. He sighed, wishing emotions were controllable. Despite knowing it was protocol, revenge against family pressures for an heir, and her lack of reciprocation, he'd fallen uncontrollably. Her heart clenched in the dark romance ambiguity. To prove innocence, she flipped on the light. Damien flushed red from face to arms, hiding under covers like a shy submissive to her sudden dominant move. Stammering, he reiterated his feelings, more vivid now than the cool CEO facade. Panic faded. Avery teased that liking her didn't halt divorce. He sighed resignedly but vowed to pursue her before papers signed, outside work. Her heart itched oddly. Ambience turned charged. Suggesting separate rooms, Damien called himself husband playfully, occupying her cheaply. She accused. He apologized, grabbing his pillow to leave, pleading not to be mad. Watching his downcast eyes, she relished bossing the billionaire CEO, a thrill in their grumpy sunshine vibe. Next morning, Damien prepared a heart-shaped breakfast, love-pulled coffee, heart egg sandwiches, fruit carved lovingly. Grandpa and Grandma cheered him on. Avery swallowed under their expectant gazes. Riding together, he bantered about photographing the intern's breakfast for comparison. She called him childish. He feigned shock. At her drop-off, he handed a thermos of Grandma's remedy for her sniffles, murmuring it wasn't office pursuit. She accepted hesitantly, his pettiness amusing yet exasperating. The intern's breakfast arrived, but Avery, influenced by Damien's jealousy, passed it to hungry Fiona. Damien messaged relentlessly for photos. She snapped she hadn't eaten it. He thanked her oddly, finding it fun. His childishness peaked until quitting time. He waited at the corner. Avery declined, staying late to avoid suspicion. Bumping into Supervisor Mr. Quinn, they chatted work until he suggested dinner casually, as friends but with hopeful eyes, confessing he liked her. Damien appeared behind, face thunderous, offering a ride to their undecided spot, smoothly intrusive. Mr. Quinn declined. Avery claimed an emergency, fleeing. Damien's car trailed her. She boarded coldly. He fumed about Mr. Quinn pursuing at work while banning him, accusing her of double standards for home stability and office flings. Avery rolled eyes, vowing silence. Home in their lavish penthouse with Cartier jewels and Van Cleef accents, Cold War ensued. She gamed, binged, pampered till late. Then, a company email from Damien's office banning intra-department romances. Furious, Avery stormed his room, bursting in as he toweled post-shower, bare except the towel. She yelled about targeting her and Mr. Quinn. He covered hastily, ears red. Defending it as company policy for progress, not like his pursuit, which boosted everything. She mocked. He advanced dangerously, towel loose, body flushed pink. Stopping close, heat radiating, he questioned her divorce insistence. You're mine to ruin, little wife. Touch her and die. That's my vow, even if it means punishing those who dare glance. Avery pondered inwardly. Their protocols shielded her from his world, fearing heartbreak as the underdog. Yet his confession shook her. Insomnia hit till dawn, black circles marking her. Colleagues shared them, from overnight gossip about the ban, guessing culprits like sleazy sales guys or market flirts. Fiona spilled tales, making Avery's secret seem tame. Lunchtime, Damien emerged frequently from meetings. Whispers noted his unusual presence on their floor, drawn perhaps by something or someone. Overwhelmed, Avery confided vaguely to Fiona a friend in protocol marriage, husband now liking her. Fiona advised seizing the tall, handsome, rich guy. Probing, she suggested the friend felt something too, or she'd divorce outright. Avery averted eyes, maybe. Lunch over, Damien whisked her upstairs, handing divorce papers coldly. She resisted inwardly, clutching them. He offered to explain to elders, citing her grandma's medical bills he'd covered per deal, his inheritance smoothed in return. Smiling sadly, he admitted happiness in marrying her. Papers stashed, Avery cursed his fickle-like, relieved she'd shown nothing. But glee faded. Fiona pinched her fierce face, urging to a meeting. Avery presented smoothly, mid-break hitting the restroom. Returning, horror her laptop projected, Damien's messages flooding. Begging not to sign, confessing Probe's heart pain, offering to kneel, promising submission, even accepting her flings. She blacked out nearly, shutting it amid stares. Requesting leave from trembling Mr. Quinn, she fled home, defeated, marriage shaky, career tarnished. Damien burst in, disheveled, sweaty from rush, apologizing hoarsely. Squatting, no kneeling, he offered fixes like silencing gossip. Avery dismissed. Melons were harmless. He feared her calm, offering his face to slap. She pushed, demanding divorce chat. Kneeling fully, he vowed uncertain eternity, but lifelong devotion. Extending arms, she made him promise endless like. He hugged tightly, sincere. Career loomed. By 10 p.m., she checked phone. 0 messages, oddly quiet. Messaging Fiona for gossip, she got screenshots, wild speculations tying her to Damien, from meeting room defense to band's motive. Laughter at his kneeling beg, envy at her good eats, pleas against divorce fearing layoffs. Avery assured reconciliation. Fiona quizzed on kneeling. Avery dodged, sleeping. Damien knocked, red-eared, requesting to share bed. Nothing more, just togetherness. Hesitant, she allowed. He lay obediently. Sharing records, she noted image impact. He cared only her view. Work tomorrow? Yes, braver than cheaters. They swapped gossips. Damien marveled at company dragons. Gazing close, he cupped her head, kissing softly, lips meshing, tongues teasing, touch lingering. He'd craved this. She admitted curiosity too. He tempted again. Unable to resist, she yielded to thorough kisses, hints of tearing clothes and passion, wall pins, bath plays with red ropes and belts as punishment in their dominant submissive dance. Thanks to his obsessive alpha male ways, night stretched long. Waking late, Avery panicked. Damien blamed himself, offering his car openly, no drop-off, entering together. She teased about docking his bonus. He waved it off grandly. Hand in hand, they embarked on this wondrous commute, air possibilities and luxury ahead, and their touch her and I forever.